Guys, welcome to Family Farmhouse. My name is Lindsay, and I just wanted to add my thoughts about all this craziness that's going on ever since the coronavirus outbreak, and just a biblical response to all the fears that we have and the uncertainties that we're all facing. So, the main thing I wanted to talk about is pinpointing who or what the enemy is. What are we struggling against, or who are we struggling against? It's definitely easy to feel like we're struggling against what's going on around us, our circumstances. It feels like we're struggling to provide enough food or toilet paper, or supplies for our families. Maybe husbands or moms are out of jobs. We're worried about where money's going to come from or what the future's going to hold without the jobs that we counted on, the effects on the economy. There's so many fears, there's so many struggles out there to distract us. Obviously, struggling against staying healthy and germ free so that we don't get sick, or maybe you are sick, or somebody in your family is sick, or maybe very sick, or maybe dying. Those are all huge struggles. But what I want to point out is that our true enemy is fear and our sin and our worries and Satan trying to distract us with all these other horrible things that are very distracting, and it's easy to just focus on those. What I want to remember for my family and remind my friends of is that a few months ago, when everything was going fine and we had money in our bank accounts and we had food and toilet paper in the grocery stores and in our shopping carts and in our houses, we felt like we were providing those things for ourselves, but we weren't. Those were manna from God, just like in Exodus when he provided manna for the Israelites. He was providing daily food for them, bread that fell from heaven every day, fresh for the Israelites. He didn't provide it so that they could store it up and save it for the next day and feel secure about the days to come. If they stored it up, by the time the sun came out and it got hot, it spoiled and it would get worms in it and start to stink. So he designed it so that they would daily depend on him to meet their needs each day. And I think that's where he always wants us to be, but in certain seasons of our lives, he makes that especially true, where we don't know what the future is, and we don't know where our money is going to come from or our food is going to come from. But look at the manna that he has provided for today. You have clothes on your back, you have food for the next meal. That's manna for today. Let's challenge ourselves to look all around us at the manna for today. Maybe you're getting the free lunches at school that schools are offering. That's manna for today. Maybe there's a promise of government help for those who have lost their jobs. That's manna for today. Maybe your garden is starting to grow, or maybe you're having produce growing now. That's manna for today. Whatever means God is going to use to provide for us. And he also is so gracious to show us glimpses of manna for tomorrow, like a garden that's just starting to grow, or those government checks that should hopefully be coming in. Those are glimpses of his manna for tomorrow. And he just wants us to remember to not worry about storing it up so that we can have security in our ability to store up. He wants us to trust him that he will provide for every day. Now it gets a little deeper about what if we get sick? What if we die? What if our loved ones die? I mean, I can't even hardly say it, but what if our babies get sick and die? How can God be a part of that? And we're still in Exodus, just right after he provided that manna. In Exodus 23, verse 23 through 26, God says to the Israelites, "When my angel goes before you and brings you to the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, I will blot them out." So those are just all sorts of armies that are going to come against the Israelites. Those are those battles and those fears that want to take our attention. And it's not that the Israelites need to focus on the battle with those enemies. Those battles are for the Lord to fight. The Israelites' battle is to stay faithful to God, to fight their fear. God says, "You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do as they do, but you shall utterly overthrow them and break their pillars in pieces. You shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from among you. None shall miscarry or be barren in your land. I will fulfill the number of your days." I think this is just such a good reminder that it's God who gives life and takes it. It's God that allows sickness and heals it. And while we can wash our hands and use hand sanitizer and stay out of the stores, and we should be obedient to the authorities above us, and if they're saying to do that, there's no harm in doing that. But I think we should remember that all those precautions we take are very limited. There's nothing wrong with having those precautions, but ultimately it's God that numbers our days. We do not number our days. Eating healthy, following rules, exercising and doing push-ups and trying to keep your heart healthy, we know that we don't limit our days. It's insane to think that we do. Otherwise, we would control when we die. We all know that we don't. People die young, people die old. The righteous sometimes die young, and the evil sometimes die old. We do not limit our days. We do not have the rule over our health or our life or our death, and it's silly to think that we do. It's fine to be wise and use wisdom with how we live our lives and be healthy as much as we feel God calls us to, but it's ridiculous to think that we number our days when we know that God does. He says it right here and in other places in the Bible. Our job is to be obedient to God, and God's job is everything else. So our battles aren't the Philistines in front of us or the Jebusites or all these armies coming towards us, and our job isn't protecting our families from illness and famine and death. Again, we can do our part in that, but our real job, our real battle is being obedient to the Lord, being faithful to him, and not giving into our fear. Our fear are all those things that distract us and want to take us away from trusting the Lord. And that is what our job is to trust him. Today, I was reading the story of David and Goliath, and I was just struck again by what an awesome battle and victory that was. He walked boldly towards the enemy, knowing that the battle was the Lord's. He didn't give in to those fears that could have easily distracted him. He just walked with no fear and in all boldness, knowing that the battle was God's to fight. He was just there to show up and be faithful to the Lord. He said, so that everyone may know that there is a God of Israel. And I think we can march boldly forward in the face of fear and be faithful to God so that all will know that there is a God of this world and he has dominion over it, all creation, all sickness and germs in all lives. So Lord, please help us to walk boldly and serve you and love others and be unafraid like David. And I would encourage you, if you're struggling with fear, to meet those struggles with looking for his blessings, looking for his manna. You can text a friend daily, pointing out God's provision in your life for that day. Oh, I have food on the table for tonight, or my child finally got this new math fact he's learning. If you just can focus on where God is showing you that he is there and he is providing, it can really help you to overcome those struggles and those fears. I hope God can speak through my jumbled words. It's all clear in my heart and in my head, and then when I try to say it, it comes out a little messy. But I hope that that is an encouragement to somebody out there. And if you need somebody to encourage you or pray with you or text with you, I'd be happy to do that. You can comment or send me a message, and I'm here to encourage others. Let's just walk boldly forward in the face of fear and trust that the Lord is with us. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.